Hello everyone, welcome to the channel and MeteoMark Weather. It's great to have you here with me today. We're going to be watching that moisture from that big old low pressure system over the northeast Caribbean islands. We'll see how much rain could fall with this, and we'll also be looking later this week into early the following week as we head into Christmas week. Moisture will be surging with some tropical waves across the Caribbean and Central America. However, later on in the month, we could be seeing a big front scour out much of the moisture across the Caribbean. I'll have all the details on that. And we'll also be watching the major cold air from Canada to continue to try to blast down here into the United States. We'll see how much cold air we could be looking at as we head into the Christmas and New Year holiday season. We'll start off the week Sunday night into early Monday with some wintry precipitation across the northeast. We'll see just how much snow could fall, as well as midweek we get a system that filters in cold air on the backside of it. We could be looking at several inches of heavy wet accumulation in the interior parts of the northeast, and we'll see into your Christmas and New Year's outlook to see if any winter storms are on the horizon. And out west, things really get active. Let's get into it. So starting off with the tropics here, and then we'll transition to our winter storm outlook. Starting off with the Caribbean, obviously we have that area of low pressure we're going to be watching that's just been hanging out here northeast of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, well east of Bahamas. But look at, it's a strong out area of low pressure, so it's actually funneling moisture, wave, and wind action here towards the Bahamas. We're going to continue to watch for that. Of course, we do have rainfall down here through parts of Honduras, Belize, even through Cancun, the Yucatan Peninsula, as we head on through Tuesday and on into Wednesday. Now, you do start to see this precipitation really getting pushed here towards the west, so to speak. And so this area of low pressure does not have any chance to develop. However, it will be quite a nuisance as lots of showers, heavy rain, and wind at times, along with some wave action. You do start to see, look at that, heavy moisture just north of the Bahamas and east of Florida. We're going to continue to watch that through midweek here as we head on into the 18th and on into the 19th. We could be looking at that get caught up in the westerlies here, but we still have a lot of showers left over across the northern Caribbean islands. Down towards Trinidad and Tobago, it looks a little drier come late week, but look at Central America. We're continuing to ramp up these northeasterly winds that are going to bring that moisture, especially to the north coast of Honduras, east coast of Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, really getting hammered here all the way up towards Belize. And we'll go over those rainfall amounts momentarily as we head on into the 20th, into the 21st. You can see where the lion's share of the heaviest tropical moisture is going to be hanging out across Central America here. Now, Jamaica looks a little drier here by the 21st. So let's see as we progress on into the Christmas holiday season here. You can see Costa Rica really getting hammered here. We do have some cloud cover and some scattered showers through the Bahamas, but look at Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic here. Few showers down and through here, but clearing. So this is some good news. Honduras, the north coast, continues to get showers down through Costa Rica and even through Panama at this point as we get a tropical wave trying to form just south of Jamaica here. Now, Jamaica, you're going to start to see moisture pick up Christmas week here, and that's in response to this big old tropical wave. It's a big strung out area of low pressure that's going to continue to move west here through the next several days. As we head towards Christmas Eve here, you can see it. Now, we do have a frontal boundary that's going to be dropping through the Gulf of Mexico and up through the northern Caribbean islands. This is the 23rd, by the way. So we do start to see northern Honduras get more moisture here. That front tries to push south here towards Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands with lots of heavy rain and windy conditions. You can see towards Jamaica, the Cayman Islands as well, north coast of Honduras down towards Panama, and showers continuing across the eastern part of the Caribbean. So let's just push it through the Christmas holiday here. You see that frontal boundary making it all the way down and through parts of Honduras, Belize, and then over towards the Lesser Antilles. So to the north of it, you'll get that northerly wind, a few showers at times, but drier air will probably most likely ensue here as we head on into the 28th into the 29th. You can see a lot of this getting scoured out, still showers across the Caribbean, so remaining unsettled. So this high pressure to the north will keep a few showers squelched here towards the south. But you see most of the tropical moisture heading over towards Nicaragua and north of Costa Rica over towards Honduras. But it does start to look like it will be more lighter in nature here. So that's some good news. So what's it looking like on our European model here? This is really, really interesting because that low pressure is just hanging out here across the north central part of the Caribbean islands. As we go out here in time, you can see the Europeans really showing these showers as we head on into Monday and on into Tuesday. Look at this across the northern Caribbean, over towards Central America. As we continue throughout the week, let's just progress all the way through next weekend here. You can see shower action just continuing through the 18th here. A little bit of an uptick, the northern coast of Honduras, Belize, over towards the Yucatan, and down towards Costa Rica and Panama here. Jamaica, you could see some clearing come mid to late week, temporarily. 19th here into the 20th, we do start to see, showers continuing across the northeast Caribbean islands. Bahamas just getting socked in, and I'll show you those rainfall amounts momentarily. But here, the northern coast of Honduras and Belize remain showery down towards Costa Rica and Panama here. So here it is. As we continue through the 20th into the 21st, you can see what's going on. Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, we do have another wave trying to push here, and that should continue further westward. Look at the north coast of Honduras, though, continuing with some heavy rain showers. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits for our mid-layer and moist area mid-layer analysis here. So as we go out in time, you can see a lot of dry air. Don't let that fool you, though. At the low levels, we do have those tropical moisture plumes. Now, as we head through midweek here, Tuesday, let's get that out of the way. You can really start to see, this moisture from this big drawn out area of low pressure just spinning towards the Bahamas and even towards Florida there. But look at this, as we head out in time, the flow does start to really moisten up here. So this is something we'll have to keep a very close watch on as we head towards the latter part of the week. Moisture from South America really gets entrained up in through parts of Central America, Honduras, Belize, and then look at the eastern part of the Caribbean as we go out in time. Now, this low pressure, that starts to pick up the moisture from our big, massive, broad area of low pressure. And look at this. Here it is through Christmas week. Very concerned about a very large tropical wave that will be encompassing much of the southern and eastern Caribbean with plenty of moisture plumes here. We don't start to see that frontal boundary really take effect here until later on in the month here, towards the 29th into the 30th, that big area of frontal boundary pushes south. But look at this. Another tropical wave could be bringing massive tropical moisture to Central America. And I wanted to show you the European run here. Here it is, dry air kicking across the central and western Caribbean. There's that moist air with our big broad area of low pressure. As we continue in time, there it is. That moisture gets entrained up through the Bahamas and off the U.S. East Coast. And there's that big surge of tropical moisture down in through Colombia, parts of South America here. So look at this. Thursday, the December 19th into the 20th, as we continue just before Christmas here, there's that surge of tropical moisture across Central America and even across the Lesser Antilles here. But there's our big front that will be pushing down towards the latter part of the month. So for the Caribbean and Central America here, the Western Caribbean, we go through this week, we can still see some rainfall. There's going to be a little bit of lull in the action here in Central America, which is some good news. Especially northeastern Jamaica, we're getting a break as well until about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Look what really starts to push even in many areas here. Let's get that out of the way. As we continue through northern Honduras, these areas eclipsing 150, 200 millimeters. Costa Rica just getting hammered down here. Northern coastline and central areas of Dominican Republic and Haiti really getting inundated as well. 100 to 150 millimeters, close to 200 in some areas here. Look at that. That is not good. That's up towards 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches. Northern coastline of Honduras here. Yeah, there's some 200 millimeter amounts here. That's getting you up towards, that 6, 7, 8, 9 inch range. And Costa Rica, this is where the lion's share of it is with these tropical waves, 3 to 450 millimeters. That's getting you up towards more than a foot of rain. And there it is. As we head towards Christmas, northeastern, especially northeastern Jamaica, Portland, Parish, 150, close to 175 millimeters here. So that's going to get you up towards those dangerous flooding mudslide range of getting into that 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. And moving over towards the eastern Caribbean here, our big old low pressure system that's just huge is just going to continue to hang out here. And look at all the rainfall here. Even another tropical wave down towards Trinidad and Tobago gets you up towards 70 to 90 millimeters. That's getting you up towards 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. Towards Puerto Rico here, we're getting close to 80, 90, 100 millimeters. That'll get you up towards about 2.5, 3.5 inches of rain. And even towards the Turks, Caicos, most of the Bahamas here, you're getting up towards 100 millimeters, 90 to 100. It's getting you up towards 2.5 to 3.5 inches of rain. So rainy times ahead here. Future radar here. Let's take a look as the rest of Sunday evening into Monday here. So as we go out here in time, you can see that rainfall pushing into parts of the Ohio Valley. Look in the interior northeast, though. This is where the cold air is hanging out. We're going to see that mixed precipitation and heavy wet snow across the higher elevations of West Virginia into western Maryland, even into southwestern Pennsylvania here with those ridge tops. A burst of heavier snow around Harrisburg up through Binghamton. As we head on into the evening hours, that's quickly going to transition to a sleet and potentially freezing drizzle as we head in the overnight. Look at the Catskills and Poconos, though. You could pick up a few inches here easily. There's winter weather advisories in effect, close to 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches above that 1,200-foot level. And those lower elevations will see about an inch or two of snow and sleet. So watch out. It's going to get kind of slick here, even into parts of the Hudson River Valley as well. But that pivots towards northwestern Connecticut. As we head over towards 9 a.m., you can see the freezing drizzle transitioning to just scattered showers across the I-81 corridor of New York and Pennsylvania. Now we have the next push of rainfall heading on in through Cleveland as we head through 5 p.m. on Monday, Buffalo, Erie, Pittsburgh. That's going to stretch all the way down to Texas here, but watch this. This is an all-rain event as warm air pushes in from the west. As we get into Monday night here, you can see right around midnight, you can see the rain pushing towards the east here, east of the I-81 corridor, into parts of New England. And then as we head on into 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. on the 17th here, heading on into your Tuesday, you start to see evidence of a little boundary here across parts of the eastern Great Lakes. Let's just watch and see if anything comes of it. There it is. We do get a little bit of lake enhanced behind it, but most of the northeast will kick out a pretty decent day here. And here we go for our, let's make it the NAM 3 kilometer here for our short-term snowfall amounts here. Yeah, this is pretty realistic. This brings us all the way through, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Look at this. Yeah, so most valley locations will see an inch or less, but there it is on the hilltops. You're getting easily closer to 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 inches isolated in some of these zones. Diving more into winter storm coverage here, before we continue, don't forget, if you liked the video and you made it this far, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Let's continue, everyone. And looking at snowfall amounts here on the European model, initially up here into parts of the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and Appalachians, we see 1 to 3 inches with locally higher 2 to 4, even as high as 6 inches in some of these counties here in southwestern, south central Pennsylvania. Through the rest of Sunday into Monday. And then we get another storm system here for Wednesday night into Thursday. Look at that into the interior northeast. The European model going crazy with 6 to 12 inch amounts there into the purple. Look at this. As we get on into Saturday and on into Sunday, we add on, it looks like a lot of lake effect. And then we'll have to watch the possibility of a storm system off the east coast here. It may get really close as we head on into next week, right around Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We might actually have some snow getting pretty close here. And looking at the GFS model here, you can see what's going on. There's that initial shot of snowfall. Most areas 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches, but locally higher in that higher terrain here. I'll zoom in momentarily, but look at this. As we get into the interior northeast, as we head towards Wednesday night and Thursday, there's something going on here. We might have that storm system pulling down some cold air on the backside of it with, several inches here in interior upstate New York into north central Pennsylvania. So we'll have to watch out for that. GFS is pulled way back on snowfall here next week in the Northeast. So we'll continue to watch it here. It's a watch by watch basis, so to speak, here as things flip flop back and forth. But the overall pattern is pretty quiet here across the East through the Christmas holiday, it looks like, all the way through New Year's Eve here, and stretching right on into the Northeast here. There's that initial shot of snow. We do have advisories in effect, mostly in Pennsylvania here, but, 2 to 4 inches in some of these higher terrain, 1 to 3 here in the valleys, even into upstate New York here, the southern tier, and look at here into the Catskills, 2, maybe 3 inches out of this, and then down in through the higher terrain of the Appalachians and West Virginia. extreme western Maryland here. So that's pretty exciting. And then look at there. There it is. This is Wednesday night into Thursday. Adding a bit here on the backside of the system as colder air filters in. You can see these areas with lake effect definitely kicking in behind it here. And there it is through next week. GFS going very eerily quiet. And here's the European model. There it is. Pretty consistent here. I do like the European model for this. Really stretching the heaviest snow down in through parts of central southwestern Pennsylvania here, well west of Harrisburg. So we get out over towards these areas south of State College, over towards the Maryland line here, 3 to 5, upwards of 6, 7 inches in the higher terrain, and 1 to 3 inches here into northern Pennsylvania, into south central New York there. As we just continue stretching in time, there is that interesting system. This is Wednesday night and Thursday. We'll have to watch out for the possibility of, there's the purple shading. So it could be a high-end advisory, low-end warning criteria, 6 to 10 inches in some of these heaviest totals here into upstate New York, into parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and then a widespread 2 to 4, 2 to 5 inch range here as well. And then we stretch into the Christmas holiday. Actually, just after the Christmas holiday, behind it, we do get another system trying to push in from the west here. So it's interesting. The European has gone much more active as we head before Christmas here, whereas the GFS is pulled way back. And here we go into the Christmas holiday. Yeah, it's interesting to see Tuesday into Wednesday next week. We'll have to watch this coastal system come in pretty close. And then we get some accumulation here in southeastern New England, 2 to 5 inches, it looks like. Locally higher, look at that, 6 inch plus there towards central and eastern Long Island. So we'll watch it here. We have plenty of time to watch it. So here for our GFS run of the synoptic flow, and then we'll get into the European. We got that snow obviously picking up where our future radar left off. That snow will be pushing into the northeast. We do get that rainfall moving through. And then look at here towards the 18th. This is what I wanted to show you. As we get on into the 18th, we can see right around Wednesday here, we got that area of low pressure around Louisville, Kentucky here. That's going to be pushing warm air up into Cleveland and Pittsburgh here. But look at the northern fringe of this. We'll have snow, some heavy wet snow breaking out. And as we get during the day, there it is. So let's just push this towards 4 p.m. on Wednesday. You can see it's going to be really close for you in Binghamton, northwest of Binghamton over towards Erie, and north of Pittsburgh, east of Cleveland. Lots of heavy wet snow in northern New York, northwestern Pennsylvania, as we get some filtering cold air on the backside of this big area of low pressure. So that moves out. It does remain progressive like it does on the European model. So that'll pivot heavy snow towards New Brunswick and rain for most of Nova Scotia. Now you see on the backside, we get that lake response. Those isobars pretty close together, so it will be pretty windy. You're no stranger to the wind lately in the northeast. And then as we get towards the 19th into the 20th, the GFS goes really quiet. We just have a little Alberta clipper with some light snow breaking out across these areas. And then look at it. That coastal goes well out to sea as we head on into the 21st. So this model run of the GFS goes really quiet. Look at the high pressure building in across much of the east here. And that's just going to continue as we head on in through there it is, Christmas Day. GFS going much warmer now. Look at the return flow on the west side of this high pressure system. That's going to pull up some rain showers with some mixed precipitation inland here, the mountainous terrain. But look at this. All through the Christmas holiday, the GFS has gone much warmer with more showery conditions across the east. And then as we head towards New Year's Eve, it looks nice with high pressure building in. So here we are with our European synoptic style here. You can see that frontal boundary moving through parts of the Ohio Valley into the northeast. It's moving into this area of high pressure. Now I wanted to show you come midweek. Here's the 17th. We have that system moving through. So most of this will be in the form of rain by this point. You can see the cold front moving down into parts of the mid-Mississippi River Valley here. So we get that out of the way. Now, towards the 18th, we get an area of low pressure. The European model's been further to the south with this, riding up along the front. We have a colder high up here in eastern Canada to the north that will help supply some colder air on the northern fringe of this system. And the European's been really consistent here with developing an area of low pressure right around the Delmarva Peninsula here. So this is a development we'll have to keep a close watch on because the northern fringe of this system, we could see some snowfall It does remain pretty progressive, though. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it here for you snow lovers. It does move out pretty fast as high pressure builds in, but we may have a brief shot of some interior northeast snowfall here as we stretch on into late Wednesday night into Thursday. And then high pressure pretty much dominates here on the European model until we get a big area of low pressure here towards the 20th. You can see Friday, the isobars getting really close together. So at this point, we're going to watch for a big bombing storm here across the northern Great Lakes. And then towards the 21st, we do try to get some coastal development here as our secondary low transfers energy to the coastline here. So this is something we'll have to keep a very close watch on as we head on into the 21st. Here's 7 a.m. Look at this. This is a big old area of low pressure just blasting up through parts of eastern New England. So this is something we'll have to keep an eye on as it heads towards Nova Scotia and the Canadian Maritimes. So we could be looking at a weekend storm for some next weekend. Now, I wanted to show you the west coast out here. This gets pretty interesting. Over the next 24 to 36 hours, look at these snow levels lowering as a big, massive Pacific low blasts inland. And you're going to be dealing with this all the way through the 17th into the 18th. Look at much of Washington state getting into the heavy rain, heavy snow inland and wind. And look at this, just pummeling all week long. The 20th into the 21st, you get a break. But look at that next low just moving in north of San Francisco. Snow levels won't be that impressive as we head on later this week into the following week here. But there it is towards Christmas Day. This is why it starts to get more warmer back east. Look at all the mountain snow out here. This is very unsettled, and that'll just continue as we head through the 27th into the 28th. Plenty of mountain snow to be had out west. If we look at the upper air pattern here at 500 millibars, way up in the atmosphere, you can see that firecracker ridge here across the east. We're going to start to see evidence that that's going to kind of push out of the picture temporarily. Here's our Thursday storm. It doesn't look highly negatively tilted, so it's not going to be a massive snowstorm, but we could have that heavy, wet interior snow in the interior northeast. Now, as we head on into the weekend, this looks more impressive. The European going with a negatively tilted low pressure system on next weekend, heading on into the 21st into the 22nd. And then it starts to look positively tilted. So yeah, we'll have a lot of cool air and cold air around, but initially it looks more impressive. And then by the 23rd, 24th, it heads out, and we have the potential on the European here for this to pivot towards the east. So there's that firecracker ridge as we head on towards New Year's, between Christmas and New Year's. But we do have another area rounding the bend here into the southeast. If we look at the GFS, let's take a look if it's pretty similar. So there's the Thursday storm, pretty neutrally tilted here, so very progressive. Here as we head into next weekend, there definitely is less phasing here with the GFS, with the northern stream and the southern stream, so that keeps it more further south and east here. But there it is towards Saturday into Sunday. We'll have to watch for a potential of an East Coast storm. We'll keep an eye on it here because the GFS kind of kicking it out pretty quickly here. But there's that firecracker ridge building in for Christmas Day. I know you snow lovers hate that. And as we head on into Saturday into Sunday, just before New Year's into Monday, there's that firecracker ridge across the east and much more active, troughier conditions here across the west. And total liquid equivalent precipitation here on our GFS. Look at through this week. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, we're getting quite a bit in the way of snowfall action as we continue to go through. This is Christmas or the day after Christmas. A lot of rainfall as well, liquid equivalent here across the south. Look at this, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 inches in some of these orange zones. Look at the west coast out here going crazy. So yeah, it's a very active weather pattern as we continue. Most of this looks like on the GFS falling before the Christmas holiday though. As we look at the European, much more active here. Look at these liquid equivalent precipitation amounts here. Most of this is going to be rainfall. Some of this will be snowfall, but we got a lot of rain moving in as we continue through midweek, especially Wednesday. There will be that cold air on the backside, but there it is, 1 to 2 inches there into the purple zones of southeastern and south central Ohio. And then we get another surge there as we head on into Wednesday into Thursday. Some of this on the northern fringe will be the snowfall, obviously. So we'll watch and see how deep that cold air gets on the backside of the system. And then as we continue through the Christmas holiday, you can see it's not until about the 30th we do start to see the European model increase precipitation amounts here. Watch out. This system along the East Coast over the Christmas holiday will get really, really close here. So for our Canadian weather outlook here, look what's going on as we head on into the 16th and the 17th. A lot of snow here for western and central Ontario. There's going to be a warm air surge here across southern Ontario, though, so you're not going to see much snow down towards Toronto and London and these areas. So that's going to push to the northeast. We do have high pressure building in behind it here, so central and western Canada until we get towards midweek here. Look at the 18th, this massive Pacific system pushing into the west coast of British Columbia. Back east, we get quieter for a time until about, here it is later on in the 18th into the 19th. We have two systems, one pushing in from the west, southern Saskatchewan and Alberta, heavy snow breaking out. And look at across extreme southern Quebec and New Brunswick here. This system from the United States could bring some heavy snow all the way up through parts of northern Newfoundland there. And then as we head on out through the 20th into the 21st, high pressure really builds in behind it. Quieter conditions as we go out here in time. But you can see the big rule as we head towards the holiday season is quieter for most of Canada until we get to about the 28th. Look at this big system moving out into parts of Ontario and Quebec. And we get another system moving through the Rockies out here. That's going to be pivoting towards the east as we head towards Saskatchewan, towards New Year's Eve. But looking pretty quiet until we get over towards the Canadian Maritimes with more snow. And liquid equivalent precipitation here across Canada. You can see what's going on here on our European run. Lots of precipitation up here into eastern Canada. Most of the snow, 40 to 60 millimeters on average here. That'll get you up towards 3/4 of an inch on average, close to an inch. And then on the west coast of Canada, 100 to 150, close to 200 millimeters. That'll get you up towards the 3.5 to 7.5 inch range. And snowfall amounts for Canada, you're going to continue to pile it on here, especially the west coast, British Columbia, all that mountain snow. It looks like in southeastern Canada, though, what ends up happening is the heaviest snow moves up towards the northeastern part. So southern Ontario and Quebec start to get a little bit less snowfall, even towards New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. A lot of this snow is going to fall well north, 25 to 50 centimeters on average. That's getting you up towards closer to a foot and 2 feet in some areas. This out here out west, though, is crazy. 80 to 150 centimeters. A lot of this is in the higher elevations, though, so that'll get you up into the 3 to 5 foot range. Going into the Western Pacific, Invest 96W out here. We're going to be watching this. Let's just back this up as we go out in time. I'm going to show you where. Here it is. So this low pressure trying to close off as we head throughout the week. Here's the 17th and the 18th. Look, it looks very impressive. We may have a tropical storm on our hands or maybe even a typhoon as we head towards the 20th. You can see much of the northern part of Asia here into Japan. It's a lot quieter with synoptic systems, mountain snow, valley rain. But here it is. We could be looking at a massive typhoon bearing down on the southern Philippines as we head on into the 20th, into the 21st, crossing over and then pushing up towards parts of just the west coast here of the northern part of the Philippines as we head on to the 23rd into the 24th. It kind of washes out towards southern Vietnam here. Plenty of moisture. But as you know out here, the typhoon season never truly officially ends. It just gets a little quieter. But we could be looking at another tropical storm as we head towards the 28th, bearing down once again here on the Philippines. This time it looks like the central Philippines and crossing over into the southern China Sea here. Just wanted to briefly show you the snowfall here across northern Japan. Northern Japan getting hit with a lot of snow these days, especially those mountainous locations getting up towards 70 to 130 centimeters. So even parts of South Korea here getting in on the act. But Japan, that's going to be the big story. And flip side on the liquid equivalent precipitation, there it is with the Philippines over to Vietnam. I am deeply worried about 250 to 350 millimeters of rainfall here. That's getting you up towards the danger zone, 6 to as much as 11, 12 inches plus in some areas. And before we continue with more weather, check out these awesome, amazing maps that you won't find anywhere else.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
And the forecast high temperatures for this week, Monday, December 16th. Look at this surge of very warm air up into the Ohio Valley. Mid to upper 50s in many areas. Still holding on to 40s in the Northeast. This is well above average, though. The only cold air is in the northern plains here as we head on into Tuesday, December 17th. This was reinforcing up here, but we still continue with above average upper 40s and around 50 degrees. 70s all along the Gulf Coast here. Into Wednesday, look at that, 70s all the way up to the Outer Banks here. But look what's forming for Wednesday. Single digits here in the northern Midwest. 40s here in the Ohio Valley into the Northeast with that rain showers moving in. But look at this. Behind this system, we had a reinforcing shot of colder air down into the 30s and even some upper 20s here into parts of the northern Midwest. Into Friday, we continue with those colder temperatures, but this is pretty seasonable for this time of year, even upper 20s here in northern New England. As we head into Saturday, December 21st, look at the cold air just hanging out across the lakes, the Northeast, and the Midwest here. Winter is definitely here. Extended forecast from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Susquehanna, River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. The interesting thing about this forecast period is not the beginning. Yeah, we get some snow, sleet, and maybe some freezing drizzle Sunday night into early Monday morning, but that's quickly fades as we get into the mid-upper 40s. Any leftover precip will be in the form of rain, showers moving in Monday night into Tuesday. Tuesday is partly sunny up towards the upper 40s, so that'll feel nice. Wednesday, showers move in the afternoon again, but watch Wednesday night and Thursday. There may be some cold air on the backside. European model going more snowy with this as we head on to Thursday morning, potentially up to 2 to 5 inches locally higher. So we'll have to watch it. GFS backed off a bit, but we still have that chance of snow as we head towards Thursday and on into Friday. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.